Here's a question I get all the time. Why isn't my low carb diet fixing my fasting blood sugar? So if your blood sugar is creeping up over 100 and your doctor is aware and we're watching that closely, there's something else that I would like you to consider. So what I'm about to show you will change how you think about your fasting blood sugar number forever. Because it's not just about the cookies that you ate yesterday, it's about what's happening in your body at 4 a.m. while you're sleeping. So most women in midlife are looking completely in the wrong place for answers to their metabolism and their belly fat. So hi, I'm Anna, and as a registered nurse, I specialize in midlife metabolism, and I see this problem a lot. So before we dive in further, I just want to ask you something. Have you noticed that every year when you go for your physical, your fasting blood sugar is trending a little bit higher each year, even though you feel like you're eating cleaner than ever? Drop a yes in the comments if this sounds familiar. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button because we're about to uncover the real reason that your metabolism is shifting, and it may not be what you think. So here's what really blew my mind when I started to wear a continuous glucose monitor and when I had my clients do the same. For women with the highest fasting blood sugars in the morning, they weren't eating the most carbs. They were the most stressed. They were the least rested. And ironically, they were eating the least food overall. And that changes everything of how we approach the problem. So in this video, I want you to understand 3 key takeaways, and they're going to be game-changing insights for you when you're managing your metabolism. So it helps you to understand why your 4 a.m. blood sugar rises. It's because of a huge cortisol spike. May not necessarily be your dinner choices, and how undereating can actually raise your fasting blood sugar overnight, and why we need to pay attention to the muscles that we're losing right now in midlife. It can be sabotaging your glucose control. So let's start with the pattern that surprises almost everybody. So your body naturally releases cortisol. Cortisol is not a bad thing. It helps get us up out of bed in the morning, and it usually rises between 3 and 8 a.m. Again, perfectly normal. But after 45, especially when your sleep is disrupted with those hot flashes, that cortisol spike becomes very exaggerated. And when the cortisol spike is really big, it tells your liver to dump a whole bunch of glucose into your bloodstream. So there goes your good fasting blood sugar numbers. And then you wake up with a high fasting glucose, even if you only had like vegetables and grilled chicken for dinner. And this is why women who are eating strict low carb diets can still see elevated morning numbers. It's not necessarily the food, it's your stress system working overtime. Now, speaking of stress systems and blood sugar, I have created a blood sugar hacks cheat sheet. It shows you exactly how to calm that morning cortisol spike naturally. And you can grab it. It's in the link in the description below. It's completely free, and it just gives you some ideas of some of the things that I tell my clients to do to help them with their metabolism. Now we're going to talk about the undereating trap. And here's pattern number 2. And this is what hits a lot of high achieving women. They have coffee for breakfast, they have a light lunch, and then they have a small dinner. That sounds familiar. I know we've all done it. But when your body perceives underfueling, it goes into protection mode. It releases stored glucose to make sure your brain has fuel. So ironically, eating too little can actually push your fasting blood glucose higher. And let that sink in for just a minute. So eating less can actually cause your blood sugar to go higher. And quick question, have you ever noticed your blood sugar is higher on the days when you eat less? Have you ever had it checked on those days? Have you ever used a continuous glucose monitor? I'd like to hear about your experiences in the comments. And then pattern 3, it's about muscle. And this is huge. Muscle is your largest glucose storage site, as well as your liver. And estrogen, when it starts to decline, your muscle mass starts to shrink unless you actively work to build it. So less muscle means less capacity to pull glucose from your bloodstream. So the same diet can have a completely different metabolic response in a woman who has better muscle mass versus one who doesn't. And this is why the strategies that worked at 35 stop working when you hit 50. It's not about willpower, it's just physiology. So if your fasting glucose is creeping up, stop asking, how many carbs did I eat? Stop stressing about your carbs and start asking again, what is my body responding to overnight? And this can help shift everything. So here's where you can start. Aim for 25 to 30 grams of protein at your first real meal of the day. Do strength training 2 to 3 times minimum per week. Try taking a 10-minute walk after dinner. Prioritize sleep before you start restricting your calories. When I see a continuous glucose monitor trending with my clients, I often see fasting numbers improve within just a couple weeks, not from extreme dieting and calorie cutting, but from metabolic stability. So remember, this is just educational. It's not individualized medical device. Always consult with your healthcare provider before making any changes. And again, that blood sugar cheat sheet that I mentioned, it can help remove the guesswork and gives you a structured starting point. Again, you can grab it below. It's part of the protocol that I use in my practice. And in next week's video, I'm going to be breaking down what a high fasting blood glucose actually looks like and when you should be genuinely concerned, because not all elevations are created equal. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. And if this video helped you and you can see your blood sugar in a new way, you want to understand your numbers, give it a thumbs up. It may help more women find this information. I'll see you next week.